Hello everyone. For those of you who know me, I do not like making videos of myself. I do not like listening to myself, looking at myself like that. So the question, why makeup? And I decided that with being home with COVID, through this whole quarantine for the last year, that my self-esteem just really plummeted. I felt like, kind of what's the point? Why do anything for myself? And then a friend of mine hosted a Saint party, and I was like, okay, I think I can do that. That looks simple. It looks nice. It looks natural. I am not a huge makeup wearer, especially under the masks. I don't want to have lots of layers on. So this was just seemed like the perfect thing to do. And then I just kind of fell in love with the makeup. And I decided to become an artist to help other people find a quick and easy makeup they can do, because we are busy moms, we work, we're stay-at-home moms, we have so many hats that we wear. But I think the most important thing is that we tend to forget to do things just for ourselves. So this was something just for me, and hopefully I can help make something just for you. So bear with me if this video is a little bit long. I wanted to go over some key things like covering under eye circles, covering some redness on the skin. I want to show you how to contour so you feel confident with that, and then just the regular overall makeup. So that is why you're seeing this right now. I apologize. But I just wanted to show you real quickly a few of the things that I'm going to be using in this video. So this is the Perfector sponge. When it is dry, it is quite a bit smaller than this. And I apologize, mine's a little bit dirty, but you can clean these. So this one is a little bit better than a lot of store brands out there, because if you can see here, this one really doesn't have any pores. A lot of the ones that are less expensive at the stores have these deep pores, which really soak up the makeup and are not going to be doing what you need it to do on your skin. So we want this just to press in and even out our coverage. We don't want it to pull all of our coverage off. The second, I'm going to be using the Buffy brush, which is, like Stephanie had mentioned, one that is on clearance still on the website. And this one offers a little bit more full coverage. If you're not a full coverage person, the 3D brush is a little less. And then if you want even less than that, just more of kind of a dusting, just a basic, just even out your skin tone, you could use the blush bronzer brush. It's very fluffy. And then I will be using a second brush today. This is the powder brush, and this end here is nice and flat, very smooth, to help lightly dust powder on so you're not pulling makeup off. So those are the only 3 extra products I'll be using besides just the normal palette. And I do have pretty big palette. This one is the 18. I've just started kind of collecting different colors. I've got my highlight colors, contour, and then aspen, which I'll be showing you for redness. I threw my powder in here, and then there's a couple illuminators that I'm still kind of playing around with, getting used to those. But that is why there's so many colors. And of course the bronzer, as my skin will eventually get some color on it. Right now pretty pale. So like I said, just bear with me. We'll be going through things kind of step by step, and I'll be showing you different ways to cover up problem areas on your skin, and we can find the best colors to help you cover up those problem areas with different skin tones. Different colors work better for that. But I'm gonna start now by using some Frenchie. That is, let's see if I can get this up here for you. This lip cheek color right here in the corner, right here, the one that I've used the most here, has a little bit of a peachish, orangish undertone on it, but that really helps cover up dark under eye circles. And mine actually don't look horrible today, which is surprising. I've really been trying to drink a lot more water. Water is the key to dark under eyes. It's not just our lack of sleep and being tired, it is water. Girls, water, water, water. Hydrates the skin, helps clear up blemishes, helps us feel better. You know, we hear it all the time. It's hard to do, especially when you're busy. But if I can suggest one thing, is trying to figure out a good water routine for yourself. So, okay, that looks crazy. I know, doesn't look good there. So we're going to just blend that in a little bit. That's gonna help neutralize some of that darkness under there. And then I'm gonna just leave that be for a little bit so you guys just get to look at that nice little mask that I've created for myself there. And watch that while we work on some other things. But okay, so there's the base coat for under eyes. If you have dark, really dark circles. If you don't, you don't need all these extra things. And then I have a microfiber cloth. So if you watch me, if I'm bending down here, I'm just rubbing off some of the extra of those colors, so I'm not mixing some of these drastic colors here. So my next one here, and this is one I know Stephanie wants to help with the redness, is Aspen right here. It is the lightest of the contours, which then again, weird, why would you use contour on multiple areas of your face, but it helps neutralize redness. So if you have really dark redness or skin conditions that cause that redness and other pigmentations, we may need to use a different color to help settle those out, but this one works pretty well for most people and it's really easy to use. And then you can, like I said, it can double as a contour. It'll be very light, but that's okay. You can use it as an eyeshadow too. You can use it if you have really light brows to help fill in your brows. So it's pretty versatile. So I have some redness here on the tip of my nose, and then it usually gets red in those areas too. And then I tend to get red across my cheeks. And this will help later on if you get a little sunburn, a little too much sun at a ball game or out at the pool or just hanging out in the backyard. This will help with that too. And then my chin right here gets red. So then you can also use this, you can do all of this with your finger too. If you have darker areas, this will help cover up some acne. All right, so I got a good base. I know it looks kind of discolored. It's definitely not the color of my skin, and that's the point. It's helping to settle out everything. So then as I put my main highlight and brightening colors on, you will see the difference then. So this is not something you'll probably just wear out in public, although sometimes just to work, I'll just throw a little of that on under my mask. But all right, so contouring. You can do this with a brush. You can do it with your fingers. The main thing that's very important to learn is where it needs to be placed on your cheek. So you can see I have a pretty full face. I do not have any definite cheekbones. I have some trouble here now that I'm getting close to 39, only 38 and a half. But my skin is a little saggy here. I don't like it. And I want to draw everybody to look up at my eyes. I don't want them to see that I need to lose 10 pounds. I don't want them to see that. I want to really focus and pop my eyes. So contour is a dark color. Dark absorbs light. So you are minimizing those areas. Light reflects. So when we do lighter in the areas we want to see, it's going to draw your attention to them. We're not going to focus on the dark areas that we've tried to cover up. So like I said, you can do it with your finger, you can do it with a brush. So the main thing to remember is the placement of where you're going to be putting the contour. So the top of your ear, here where it's connected to your scalp, is really a good rule of thumb of where you start. And then you want to stop right about where like your cheek balls. You don't want to go down into these smile lines because then that's going to draw more attention to these and make your cheeks look saggy once again. So you can use a brush to kind of help you do a line, or you can use just your own finger and you're going to feel around and feel for the thickest part of your cheek. So you don't want to go below the thickest part. So you can see that's like where my jaw like dents in. I want to put my finger right on top of where that changes. All right, so I'm going to go below, like right below that, right where that jaw starts. So I kind of like to use, just dipping my contour color here, which is Astoria. And I like to go from my ear down, and I like to use my finger because it's a little bit easier, I think, to place, and you're not gonna always, you can get a little thinner line if you wanna do that. So this is going to be not a very dark contour. This is going to be a subtle contour. The more you add, the deeper intense like the cheek lines and stuff you're going to get. And don't be afraid with it, because with it being the cream foundation, the beauty of that is that it's blendable. So if you get too much on, we can see just like that. I went a little too high there. Oh, my little wispy hairs. We can blend it away and get rid of what we don't want. That is magical. So it's not like a thick powder that's like dyeing your skin. It's just going to sit there. Okay, so those are pretty even lines like that. So you can, when you get familiar with where your cheekbones are, you can just even like do it at the same time. All right, so the next place you're gonna contour is on your chin if you do not have a divine chin, which I don't. So I wanna do right there along the line, starting at my ear, and I'm gonna pull it down along here. Do you see that? So I've created a dark shadow here. And I'm gonna do it along the other side. Sorry, I have to look in my big mirror. So if I'm not looking at you, that's why. Pull that down along the line here. And around the chin there. If you notice you're getting some saggy skin or things that you don't like to see down here, you can also run contour down your neck too. That's just creating shadows. So that's going to absorb the light and not make it stand out. So those are the contour lines for the chin. All right, the other place that you can contour, you don't have to, but what it's gonna do is, again, push the focus down to your eyes by having this up here. So right up at the hairline here. And again, when you start contouring and get more confident, you're gonna feel better using more. You don't have to, there's no set amount of contour you have to use. It's just whatever you're comfortable with. So there's my line for my forehead. So this area here is just gonna be, it's drawing in my eyes. It's just painting the picture for that. You can also contour down the nose. I tend to do that at the end. Otherwise, you're smearing your contour in and you can accidentally make your nose look a little wider than you want it to. And my nose is fairly wide and I don't want it to look bigger. So there's my contour line. So the next thing I'm gonna add, looking down for my brushes here, is my main highlight color. So when we say main highlight color, we're talking about what's kind of like your main overall color. And the great thing about this makeup is because of how much you're blending it, you really can have several highlight colors. So as you get darker, you can kind of switch, mix and match. If the color that you get matched with doesn't work by the time it comes home, we have a 30-day exchange policy, which is great. Always free shipping, so you don't have to worry about that. But most people can use several colors. So I know I can just I have 2 colors that I can definitely use for this. It just depends on how much variation of color that I want here. So this is June, and what I'm gonna do is dab it. How those pictures and everything show you. A little bit goes a long way, so I'm just basically doing like 1 dab on here, and then I'm pressing it where I want it to go. So we're gonna do some here, and we need to make sure we get makeup up here. And this doesn't have to take this long. Again, like I said, I'm just going a little slower so you guys can see what's going on here. And right up next to the line there. And then you can run a little bit just so you don't have any gaps where there's no makeup. All right, so that is my main highlight color. All right, so the second one is your brightening highlight color. Mine is white peach. So in here, see how they're similar-ish in color. The June kind of helps hide some redness. It's got a little bit more of a yellow undertone. This one has a little bit more of a pinky undertone, which will help brighten, is because I do have some pink undertones too. So this one is going to go center of your chin. You can see a little bit different tone there. This one is going to be my color here. Remember, we're brightening and pulling down towards the eyes. It is going to be my nose color for sure. And this will be the color that I help cover up that Frenchie with. Like I said, I've got the whole artist kit, so sometimes when I'm doing my other my makeup, I just will throw in other colors just for fun. But you don't have to have a full palette like that. I just think it's kind of fun to have some extra colors to work with as our skin changes, and once you fall in love with it, you'll feel the same way, and you'll want more colors to play around with because it's so easy and it's fun. But anyways, so those will be the areas. Sometimes I'll just throw a little extra here so they get blended nice. Okay, so there's my coverage there. I'm gonna do my lip and cheek after we get all this blended. So I save the contour blending for last because we want to make sure that those lines still stand out, and we want to make sure that we are not pulling the dark all over our faces. With the contour for our cheeks, we're going to want to pull it upwards. If we pull it downwards, it's just going to cause that saggy look again that we're trying to get rid of. If we pull it upwards, it's pulling that focus towards our eyes. Makes sense, right? With the chin, we want to do the opposite though. We're going to blend, of course, into that line, but then we're going to pull some of it down onto our neck because we're going to want to create a little bit more of a shadow, which gets rid of like our saggy skin and things like that we don't want to focus on. The area along our forehead here is going to be pulled mostly up into the hairline. That is where we will see then that we're kind of shrinking then the forehead. So if you have a wider forehead, you may want to go down farther on the contour. I don't really have a huge forehead, so I don't usually do tons, but so this is going to be, again, we're drawing into the eyes. All right, so using the Buff Brush, there's two different sides. It doesn't really matter which one you use. The littler one kind of works better around the eyes and around like little creases and a little more detailed. But we'll just go ahead and get started here. So I tend to start from the outside of the face, and there's different ways. So you've seen a couple of these videos. So you can stipple it, which is pushing it into where it needs to go. You can swirl it depending on how thick you want the coverage. If you've put on a lot of under coverage, so like with the Aspen that I put on, or if you get matched with like Sunlit to really get rid of redness, which Stephanie has that one. It's a good one if you have that underneath color that you don't swirl a lot, because you're gonna be moving and removing color that you put there on purpose. So it's just really, you'll have to find what works best for you. Everything, you know, that we do on these videos are definitely teaching you different ways that we found works for us, and then you just have to play around with it a little bit to see what works best for you. So since I put the Aspen on, I'm going to just start by doing the dabbly, stipply effect here. All right, and then when I get to my eyes here, I'm gonna definitely want to get the inside corner of your eyes. Sorry, I keep looking over at the big mirror. So definitely with eyes, you really don't want to pull, okay? Because you can see I have some fine lines and things, which I feel like have gotten worse since we've been wearing masks, because I feel like I have to smile extra big to show people that I'm not like having a hateful face under that at work. But so I feel like my wrinkles have gotten a little more prominent, which is sad, but that's okay. Then people know I'm happy, and I am happy to see them at work. All right, so and then you'll want to you don't want your whole eyelid to be naked there. You want to make sure you have some color on there. So I'm going to switch back over and work on this other cheek over here. This side I'm going to swirl just a teeny bit by the hairline to make sure that it gets some up in there and I don't have like weird lines like we get if we don't have properly matched makeup. So as I'm sitting here, as I'm doing this, I'm just trying to show you the effect in a little bit of a slower motion. If you get your colors, or if you've noticed with other colors that you have at home of different types of makeup, when you get them and it feels like you can see pores more, or you can see fine lines more than you normally could, it probably just means that the color is a little bit off, and we might need to do some other color correcting. With like a liquid foundation, they can definitely sit quite a bit in your pores. So I didn't color correct as much up here. I'm gonna all right, I think I've got that mostly in for now. Bear with me if there are a couple not blended spots, because you can't see as well being in the phone here. Okay, so now I'm going to do these contours. So I'm going to start on the outside here, and we're just going to brush upward. So it almost gives it like the look of like having like a dark blush on. Look at that. Ooh, cheekbone. All right. Any girls that have a little fuller face like me would understand the exciting prospect of actually having a cheekbone. So we're gonna pull this up just like we did the other side. Getting a little heavy there, but that's okay. We'll just keep working that spot. Some of that's my hair. Okay, so boom, cheekbones. I hope you can see that with my lighting in here, and I know like the lighting in here is making my face look a little bit yellow, but I promise my makeup does match. It just will do a little better look after we've got most of this done here. So contour on the forehead, goes up into the hairline. It'll settle out after I leave it alone there. Okay, so then jawline, coming down in the shape that we want it. We're just gonna gently smooth that out. All right, and then we'll take it and then we'll brush it down. Look at that. Added some shadow. Do you see how it narrowed my jawline and my kind of saggy skin there? All right, so we're pretty blended. All right, and now we can add some lip and cheek. And I am going to use, this was the first one I was color matched with, so we'll do this one today. So Desert Sun here. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna start on not close to your laugh lines here. You're gonna go back a little bit right to the apple of your cheek, right about right there where your highlight or your contour started. Sorry, I'm probably throwing you guys all thrown out the incorrect terms. So right about where the contour started. So the lip and cheek is very pigmented, which means it has a strong color to it, which is great. If you get a little too much on it while you're doing it, you can always go over it with your lighter like pop of color. So your lighter highlight. So with this one, once again, I'm gonna kind of just stipple and push it up a little bit. Pull it down just a little bit so I get a natural little glow there. So just kind of up and down. I'm just pushing it into the skin there so it looks natural. And then I could always definitely add more if I want to. All right, so there's that. Let's see if I can move my phone a little bit so my face doesn't look so yellow. All right, so you see highlighted my cheekbones there, so there's my contour. Definitely have some shadow to my chin now. All right, now we can add some color to our lips. Gonna go with that Desert Sun again. That's just gonna give me a real neutral look. But I have a couple other fun ones here, and I'll try to do a lip video in the next day or two. But this one here, Black Cherry, looks amazing on. That's a terrifying color. It doesn't look like that at all. And then there's Pink Grapefruit that gives you that nice little summer glow. But all right, so finishing up your makeup. This Perfector sponge, like I was talking to you in the beginning, is super, super, super important, okay? This is going to push in the makeup where it needs to be, and it's also going to pull off that little bit of extra makeup that may not be sitting on your skin, and then as it does that, it's just blending it all together, okay? So let me put this up a little closer. So this is just very lightly damp. I wetted it before we started, squeezed out all the excess I could squeeze out, and then I used my microfiber cloth and I put it in there and I just squeeze, switch spots a few times to make sure that it's just barely damp now, because if it's really wet, once again, it's gonna have the opposite effect and it's going to pull too much color off. So if you think your line on your chin is a little too dark, you are uncomfortable with it, you can always use the sponge to help pull down and blend if you want to. But I really think that the Perfector that Seint has really is, for only $14, I think it's a good investment for your makeup and for getting an even tone, and it's gonna pull off any excess makeup that might make you oily. All right, so one last thing that I found that I need to do, not everybody needs to do this, but I do need the translucent powder on my face. So I just have stuck with Seint products just for simplicity and them fitting in a compact. But if you have a translucent setting powder that you love, you can always use your own products too. You don't have to buy everything Seint. That's not what this company is about. Like, nobody wants to force you to buy just Seint products. They don't even sell mascara. What they used to be called mascara, don't sell it. So, you know, buy products that you love too. If you want to intermix them, you just have to make sure that you look what's in your products, because if they have any silicone or anything that causes slidage of makeup, that may be why you aren't happy with the makeup that you currently have too, because some of them have chemicals that do the opposite of what you're really trying to do. You're trying to lightly cover up your face, just cover up those imperfections. We don't want to put a full mask on like some of the liquid concealers and things like that do. We don't want it to look cakey. We don't want it to be dry and flaky. We don't want it to look gross by the end of the day. We're just wanting to have that nice, youthful, dewy finish. So I do get a little bit oily, so I'm using, once again, it has like a fluffy brush. If you like to use that for powder, go for it. This one is just like a nice smooth one, so it doesn't pull or move makeup on your skin. So T-zone is my oily, need to cover up zone here. So like I said, you can't even see this going on, but I'm just gonna lightly, or you can tap it if you notice that it's pulling anything at all, but it shouldn't at this point. So then I'm gonna tap it under my eyes, because I definitely don't wanna get too much and have it sit in my fine lines, because you know, the fine lines, they're there, and I can't get, you know, like, you're never gonna be able to completely get rid of fine lines by makeup. Otherwise, you're putting so much on your face that's not natural, and those lines are beautiful. That means I smile a lot, right? So these are my oily zones. So that's the dusting powder. Some people, I've never tried it before, but I'm definitely thinking about getting it from Seint, is they have a stay spray powder that some people, after they've done the sponge to remove the excess, they will go on and spray their sponge and then stay spray sponge on to help set in makeup if you have like super oily skin, or if you live in a really hot climate. You know that makeup is just hard to keep on when it's super hot and you're sweating, no matter what brand it is. So that's something that people have used, or they use it underneath and on top. You'll have to kind of find, you know, what your jam is with that, but it also gives a little bit of a dewy look too, which my skin will get a little bit more of one as the day goes, especially if I have a mask on. So the only thing I've noticed, which I'm sure every single person has this problem, is the only place where my makeup comes off at all during the day when I'm wearing the mask for 8+ hours is just on my nose, because you know, when you have the little metal band over it, it rubs on there. I don't know what else I could possibly do to make that stay. So that's the only area that I tend to have to touch up at all, is just my nose. But I feel like we rub our noses, it comes off of there. It's just kind of one of those places that's right out there. So I was gonna show you too the contour on the nose. So with your nose, you wanna keep the contour on like this upper top part, sorry for my middle finger, upper top part of your nose there. You don't want to go to the sides. That will once again expand your nose. We want to thin it. Just gonna do a teeny bit. And I may have even gone over a little too far. Well, it's a little uneven. Bear with me here. Okay. And then we need to add just a little bit of that lighter highlight color then back down the bridge of your nose there for while we blend this in. So we're just gonna stipple that in, and I should have done this before I put my dusting powder on. I forgot I was gonna show you guys how to do that. So you can see, gives a little shadow, helps narrow my nose a little bit. I think my little sponge got kind of wet over here, but and my dusting powder, set that in place. And so the only thing I don't have on, I need to fill in my brows a little bit, add some mascara to my basically non-existent little eyelashes there. But all right, so that is a not too long, 30 minutes. Yeah, we've all got time for 30 minutes, right? Huh. Anyway, so that I just wanted to show you step by step, full coverage, highlight the cheekbones, highlight the jawbone, and thin out the face and draw it to the eyes. I will take an after picture once I get the eye makeup on. But again, thank you for coming to Stephanie's party. We appreciate you being here. We really hope you fall in love with the makeup too. And if your wish list grows too big as we go, you can always host a party and earn some free stuff for yourself. So once again, happy Sunday. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.